Hello, you Midas Mighty. Harry Litman from Talking Feds here with a reaction to the pretty hot off the presses opinion by Judge Aileen Cannon in the Mar-a-Lago search matter. And I gotta say, she's thrown a bitter curve, Vaseline greased up, messy, bad, illegal ball. I know there are some people on there, I'm not among them, who are giving a quick assessment. Maybe the DOJ can live with this. I can't see how, but in any event, it's a debacle legally and practically. Let's start with legally. Let's start with the whole theme. Here's the whole big problem from 30,000 feet. She provides a very tenuous, dubious justification for a special master to review just a small sliver of documents that consist of Trump's personal effects, like medical records, supposedly, tax correspondence. Okay, fine. You don't need a special master, as I'll summarize in a minute, but no real harm there. But she then makes that tail wag the dog by bringing in all the 10,000 plus documents and on the ground that they might be executive privileged or subject to executive privilege as it applies to former president and really citizen Donald Trump. Think about that for a minute, and you don't need a law degree. It's breathtaking and pernicious. What it means is Trump potentially had some right to have all these documents, and if that's true, what happens to the criminal prosecution? It seems like it maybe goes away. Moreover, it's completely amorphous, vaporous even, when he would have the rights. A special master now is going to have to look at these documents and can find that, yeah, okay, there's executive privilege. Now what? Some of them are going to go back to Trump? When? Which ones? It's really a, legally muddled and sort of a shipwreck, practically speaking. All right, to double back a little. Trump asked for a special master and a return of his property. You never get a special master here. The only time you get a special master if there's thousands of complicated documents, like when you search a lawyer's office. But, said Judge Cannon, I found at least one case that wasn't that, so I'll just go ahead and say you should have a special master for, again, that sliver of documents that were his. By the way, nobody says that the DOJ didn't have a right to get them in the search. They were definitely authorized in the warrant, but maybe eventually he has a right to have them returned. For anyone else, that would come after he's charged and at the end of the case. Okay, fine. She wants a special master to look at these documents and say, are they attorney-client privileged? In which case, nobody who's actually working on the case should see them. A detail that she completely whiffs on in footnote 13. If they do see them, they're off the case. So the incentives are completely in DOJ's favor to do this right. But fine, she appoints a special master even though it's unnecessary, it's basically unprecedented. Then she says that special master will do privilege review. And now comes the whole big, huge rabbit in the small hat. What kind of review? Well, attorney-client fine. Oh, an executive privilege. Well, why? Well, she says, maybe there's some right here. The Supreme Court has said that it's possible that a former president has some interest. Of course, the Supreme Court has said that in a situation that totally applies here, where there's no sense taking up the question because Biden has waived. It's an ongoing criminal investigation, so you wouldn't even look at the possibility of executive privilege. But she says that special master who's going to be appointed now has to look at all these documents for executive privilege. That means, among other things, a potentially huge delay because the special master looks at them but then has to decide to call balls and strikes in a situation where, we don't know what home plate is. We don't even know what field they are on. Somehow, though, that's going to have to be decided before a special master could do anything. That probably would have to go all the way up to the Supreme Court just to give the special master some law. And again, the consequence means that the thing that's been so clear to anyone with any sense, Trump may not be possessing these documents that are so injurious to the national interest. Maybe he can. And that has to be what Judge Cannon's opinion, that the import of it. Okay, so what should happen now? The Justice Department can appeal. It can appeal because she, among other things, has told the criminal investigation it can't do anything. She's frozen it until they decide these privilege calls. So that means they have a right to appeal. There are some people out there saying, wow, the 11th Circuit is really conservative. You could get a worse ruling. That is conceivable. And maybe you can live with the special master. Hard to see for the reasons I've said. It's going to be a very long delay. For my money, they've got to appeal. They've got to appeal to the 11th Circuit, and they will decide it within a couple days, because otherwise they have to sort of play ball in her game of starting out who do you agree with for a special master. So they can now appeal it to the 11th Circuit. The losing party can maybe appeal it to the Supreme Court. The very best scenario is a big delay, but if they don't, it could be, literally a year or more, and we're really coming up against 2024. So in sum, it's a disaster, and the main disaster, both legally and practically, is to take the sliver of justification to eventually, down the line, get some of the personal materials back and use it to immediately appoint a special master, and much, much, much more important, the whole ballgame really, to have that special master determine executive privilege. So we'll see what happens next, but a bad day for DOJ and a bad day for justice. All right, Harry Litman, we now have our own YouTube channel. Check us out. But the next time something big like this happens, I'll be with you with another reaction. And until then, you Midas Mighty, talk to you later.
This November is Rovember. MeidasTouch just released its brand new collection of Rovember t-shirts and pins to let the country know what's at stake this upcoming midterm election. Go to store.meidastouch.com to grab yours. That's store.meidastouch.com.